Okay, great. So let's get it started. So Anastasia, if you could provide us with um, some information, why certification, how it was, well, requested, should I say, right? It was demanded
It
by
was
many.
definitely requested more than once.
Tell us more about this.
So sure. So as you guys know, we do regular webinars, and pretty much after every single one for the past, I guess especially this year, we've been getting requests about whether we have a certification course or not, and that eventually motivated us to do it. There are two reasons for this. The first one is just because Explain Everything is actually pretty complex. So we wanted to help walk teachers through the most useful scenarios for them, and also just for personal development for teachers themselves, to help them acquire like digital literacy skills that maybe not all teachers have, and that'll definitely be useful, especially now in all areas, I think.
Right. So let us show you what is in this level 1, right? Step 1 of our certification. So we're actually going to provide you with 3 levels of certifications, right? The first one is called Explainer level 1. That's what we have ready for you under the link that we'll share with you in the materials after the session. That's Explain Everything course. It's under this stress. So don't worry, you don't need to type it in or anything. We'll share a link to you. And the level 1 consists of what? 7 lessons, right?
Yes, 7 lessons. Would you like me to elaborate on that a little more?
Oh, sure. I can show those lessons here. There are like 4 different parts of the course, right?
Sure, I'd love to talk about that, but do you think you could show me your whiteboard? Because I actually don't have mine open right now, and I'd be happy to elaborate that on that a little bit.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I just wanted to give you guys a brief overview of what the course is, this level 1 certification course. So the first one is basically presenting you guys, and when I say you guys, I mean like teachers, educators especially, but not only, also different professionals in different industries, different scenarios or use cases that could be especially useful nowadays when it comes to like remote teaching, remote work. So the first one is creating and sharing explainer videos, a scenario we've talked about quite a lot recently. The second is presenting from your whiteboard, and this can be done remotely and on location if we're lucky enough to do that again. And the third is collaborative whiteboarding. And the fourth is giving assignment feedback, which is kind of like this little extra scenario that we decided to throw in there. We do feel, and research also indicates that giving assignment feedback, video assignment feedback, is much more personal, and just it works a lot better when it comes to student development as well. So that's the first part of the course. The second part is me and Bart getting together and showing you how those work in practice. I'm not gonna lie, we had a lot of fun making that video, and it basically shows you how all of the different scenarios that I talk about in the first part come together and how that works. The third part is something that probably a lot of teachers get asked about, because the third part is about our admin controls, our central admin controls panel. So probably every teacher has gotten questions about privacy, who sees their kids' data, or I don't know where the projects are stored, who has access to them, et cetera, et cetera. So there will be answers to questions like that in that part of the certification course, and also just other customizable things that you as a teacher can set up. And the fourth part is a quiz. Because every teacher knows that, yeah, we can't just take people's word for it. You have to pass the quiz. And once you do, you get your certificate, and you are a level 1 explainer. So that's everything in a nutshell, but you'd have to definitely check it out.
So 2 questions here. Thanks for intro. 2 questions here, because you provided those videos that are in the course. You produced them using Explain Everything. So I can play. I'll scroll through one of the recordings, right? Where you use the browser, there's you speaking about certain scenario, that's assessment IC. And it was meant to be authentic that way, right?
Yes.
To use Explain Everything to create course on Explain Everything.
Exactly. That was the idea. As Bart said, we wanted to be authentic about it. We wanted to show you how that's going to look. So the entire course was recorded, or almost the entire course was recorded, using Explain Everything. So when I talk about, say, for instance, explainer videos, you get to see exactly how that's going to look, because I did, in fact, do that in Explain Everything. So I think that that helps you get kind of realistic outlook on what your lessons could look like too.
And how was it? What was the experience of producing that, using Explain Everything on Explain Everything?
I mean, it was actually a lot of fun. I generally like making explainer videos and explain everything, so it was pretty fun. One thing I did have a problem with was when I was trying to use the live browser that we can use on the canvas. And I tried to open Explain Everything Drive in Explain Everything while making a video about Explain Everything.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a little too much Inception for one go, but other than that, it worked out really well. And take a look for yourselves.
And I understand some bits were not included in level 1, right? We have some leftovers.
Yes, we do. Originally, we thought of adding an integrations chapter, we could say, to our certification course, but in the end, we decided to publish it separately. So there's an integrations playlist available on our YouTube channel. And when I say integrations, I mean LMS integrations specifically. So we're talking 5 specific LMS, and we do plan to expand that list in the future. But currently it's Google Classroom, Moodle, Jamf, Schoology, and there's one more, Bart, help me out, Canvas.
Canvas, yeah.
Yeah, so it's those 5. So if you go to that playlist on our YouTube channel, I do walk you through step-by-step how to integrate our app with those most popular LMS.
Right. And it was done on purpose to leave it out, not to cram too much into basics, right?
Exactly. We didn't want to go too far, so.
Right. I guess that's a good call, but then again, we'll return to those integrations in level 2 and level 3, just to show you integrated scenarios. But here, I guess that's a good call. And for you, you're not missing out on anything because we have this as a playlist on YouTube, and we're actually going to share direct link to that playlist as well.
Yeah, we basically eventually decided that we don't need to make everybody who's taking the certification course learn about all of these LMS, because every school uses a different one and there was just no point. But you can have access to it anytime on our YouTube channel.
Right. So that's cool. And I remember one thing, we had a discussion about central admin controls, right? And those, the episodes about central admin controls is included in basics, right?
Yeah, I actually just mentioned that a moment ago. So as I said, the central admin controls panel shows how you as a teacher, or generally you as like an admin or owner, the different things that you can customize, the different apps you can set and Explain Everything to integrate with. So yeah, and like I said, it also will help you answer some concerned parents' questions about privacy, etc. So that's definitely useful for every teacher, I think.
Because that surfaces quite a bit now, right? How to customize experience in your school to the needs of the staff, right? How to make it applicable to the scenarios where you'll be using Explain Everything. So that's why we included this in basics, but to be very honest, I think not everyone will use this part, yet it is useful to understand that, yes, you can have control of experience of your group. But those of you that are not using Explain Everything kind of like at scale, deployed on a school level, this episode will be kind of like an information of what to expect if usage of Explain Everything would grow.
Yeah, should you decide to expand the amount of people in your group or get more, people in your company or school to use it, then you would know how that works and what to expect.
Right. Okay. And so far we have, most of the questions are about recording of this webinar. So let me answer this live. Yes, absolutely. We're going to provide you with the recording of our conversation tomorrow. So everyone who registered to this webinar will have set of links from us, including link to this recording. And we also asked Rashawn Richards, the other co-founder of Explain Everything, to join us for discussion. So we hope that he will be able to make it and join us for final part of our discussion. Okay, so we know now a lot about level 1 of certification. So let me ask you, because we mentioned there are 3 levels.
There will be 3 levels.
There will be 3 levels, exactly. So we have Explainer 1 out there for you, and you can try it out. But you can also sign up for advanced, that is level 2. And 3rd level, that is expert, right? So why 3 levels, and how we're going to lay or scaffold the course over those 3 levels? How we're going to do that?
So yeah, as I mentioned, this course kind of came into being in the first place just because so many teachers were in fact asking for it. So this first level or level 1 explainer course is about helping all of those teachers figure out how they can use this, especially now, that everybody's doing remote learning. So that's basically about that. The second level of Explain Everything, or level 2 explainer course, should cover about 70% in total of all of the things, all of the features, all the possibilities that Explain Everything has to offer, because it is a very complex and expansive tool. So once you do that, you'll know about 70%. And then level 3, the expert, you said, right?
Right.
Yeah, the expert is going to be just like these really specific, I would say even a little crazy use cases that we kind of want to go into, because sometimes people email us with requests and we're like, oh yeah, you could do that. And so we're going to cover those slightly more unusual, but very curious cases in that third level. And also, Bart, you were talking about some benefits for people who finish that third level.
Right. And we can get to it shortly. I wanted to mention that maybe those scenarios that you'll be able to put to work after going through level 3 are more like empowering. Explain Everything is a sort of a tool that it empowers you in order to be out there teaching remotely or in the classroom in a very powerful way, like interactive. You can engage your students, and all of those possibilities exist in this tiny little tool that we have for you. But some are, well, I don't want to say well hidden, but they require some exploration, right?
Yes, and they require sometimes a quite specific situation in order to actually even look for those functionalities or figure out how to use them. So yeah, level 3 is going to be for the real hardcore Explain Everything fans out there.
Daniel asked us, to enter the certification system, is it only possible if I have the premium version? No, the answer is you can use any version that you have. Either trial, or you can use free version. The free version of Explain Everything comes with limits, but still everything that we illustrated and talked about on the course is something that you can put to practice using even a free version, maybe excluding the integrations on the playlist, right? And maybe excluding the admin controls, because
that comes with Explain Everything Drive, and that's a different plan.
So that would be the only element. The creation part, sharing part, most of the sharing part, yes, you can use free version for that.
And I'm not sure if that's exactly what the question was asking, but you don't need to have any specific plan bought out in order to complete the course. The course is hosted on a platform called Thinkific.
Yep.
So you can register there. It's free, and you can do the course for free and get your certificate for free. And then once you do that, I'm sure you'll buy the plan even if you don't have it yet. So
exactly. And we wanted to make it approachable and easy, at least on this basic level, right? So there is no requirement to have an app and demonstrate your understanding of the app by producing some assets using the app. Because at the end, you'll have this quiz that you mentioned.
Yes.
The quiz is cool, but it's still just a quiz. With level 2, we might surprise you with something engaging.
Yes, we were thinking of, we're still figuring it out, but we're thinking of like the level 2 passing grade being not so much a grade as a project that you would create yourselves and then send in to us just for evaluation. So that would be, that would be a little trickier, but definitely result in you acquiring even more useful skills.
Yeah. A cool question here from Lisa. Are the lessons specific to a certain device, laptop, iPad? So you went through the material on iPad, right? And when we were illustrating collaborative scenario, we also used iPads, but the scenario is made in a way that you can use the same, you can implement it using Chromebooks or Android devices. And every time when we illustrate how to use Explain Everything, we try to make it without isolating any group, let's say group of browser users, for example. But recording videos as you did during college, during certification, when producing a certification, you did it with front-facing camera on an iPad, and that is not still available in the browser. Right?
Yeah, the
So that's the
browser.
limitation.
Yeah, exactly. So the browser doesn't offer that option, but if you have, as Bart said, a Chromebook or an Android tablet, those same scenarios, it looks slightly different, but you can pretty much do all the same things that I did on my iPad. So yeah.
Exactly. And of course, we do have materials on differences between the versions, but you're safe starting with this course on any device that you have. And if there are differences, we explain those differences, and we will explain them even more on level 2 and level 3 when getting into more complex scenarios.
Also, our Help Center articles cover pretty much every imaginable scenario, so you can always check those out. I do advertise our Help Center a lot during the certification course because it is quite vast at this point. We have a lot of articles, so any differences between platforms are also described in detail there.
Yeah. When we were trying to produce the course, we understood immediately that we have so many pieces of information, scattered around in different parts of, on YouTube, on Help Center, that, as you mentioned, on the product page or in the product, that we thought maybe we can provide you with sort of like, how to complete the puzzle, how to find the proper information, the one that you need when going through some scenarios, right? And that's what you're demonstrating on the course, actually.
Yeah.
You're showing how to, find your way through the materials that we have.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Another question from Karsten. Can you please produce explainer integration with Shobi film? Oh, yes, that's actually what we're going to do.
It's in the making, for sure.
It's in the making. The integration with Shobi is really cool. We demonstrated that recently on one of our webinars. Actually, we had 2 webinars. You can find recording of that webinar if you go to our YouTube and look on webinars playlist, hands-on webinars playlist. One of the recent recordings is the one where we go through the integration with Shobi, and but yes, dedicated clip will be provided.
That's actually one of the reasons, kind of getting back to the chapters in the certification course, that's one of the reasons that we decided not to leave them in the certification course, but to instead create a separate YouTube playlist, just because I had 5 described, but there's going to be more. And so we figured that instead of constantly adding to the certification course, we would just put that separately, and every teacher or whoever could choose the integration that interests them most and just watch that. So
yeah. Another question: what's the duration of the certification on on the first level?
Oh gosh, that kind of
more or less,
like an hour.
I guess even less.
Maybe
if you would
less than that.
You go through the videos that we publish, it would take you like 40 minutes, I guess, less than an hour.
Unless you decide to read that PDF I attached.
Yeah.
I attached a very detailed PDF on the central admin controls panel in case anybody's interested. But if you just watch the videos, it should take you under an hour to kind of complete, I think, with the quiz at the end.
But here's the thing: you can expect that level 2 might be a bit longer because we want to cram a lot into it. We want to take you on as you mentioned, on a level where you can use at least 70% of what we have in the app.
Exactly.
And the experience is quite versatile, isn't it?
Oh yes, it's sometimes kind of unbelievable the things that can be done there. It's really, like I said, full on Inception, but we'll get to that, I promise.
So Chandrakat, I cannot promise you how long will be level 2 or 3, but we'll try to make it, so it does not take ages, but you can still learn a lot from it. So that's
we'll try to find a middle ground there.
Yeah. Another question: is there a limit to complete the certification, or can I do it on my own pace?
You can do it at your own pace, anytime you have time, basically. Of course, as I said, at the end, you do have to pass that quiz. I think it's 70%, right? That's what we agreed on in the end. So you have to have a 70% grade to pass the quiz. But as far as watching the videos go, you watch them whenever you want, as many times as you want. So yeah, there's no limitations there.
I think the best way to go through this is that to have videos on one device and then practice on the other, right?
Yeah, sure. That actually sounds like a really good idea.
Yeah. Will the certification system have any cost?
Once again, no.
No,
This
no.
course on Thinkific, it's free, and yeah, there's no cost. All you have to do is sign up. That's it. So,
Yeah.
and the next two levels are also going to be free, Bart, or
At least initially, they will be provided free.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
So no barriers of entry. Want to make it easy, especially during this time of COVID.
Yeah.
Many teachers, they look for support and, finding their ways how to teach remotely. We don't want to
Burden them.
yes, and
Yeah.
provide any additional barriers. That's why those certification courses will be provided free. Okay.
What else have you got there?
So there's a lot of expression of gratitude for your work.
You're
So
very welcome.
Thank you, Anastasia.
I'll pass it on to the support team. They were also very helpful.
What is Shobi for those of us who might not know yet? Or is that basic educators using digital tools today? No, Shobi is one of our partners that is working with us, and as with other partners that we mentioned when speaking about integrations, we're going to provide a video showing the scenario where work starts in one system, that is, let's say, LMS, where you have your class, and then continues in Explain Everything. Let's say providing a lesson can happen on Explain Everything in one way or another. And then the result of that, let's say assignment, can happen within Shobi. So that's what we have in mind when thinking about integrated scenario, is that, blending different solutions together in learning scenarios.
That makes it that much more practical for teachers, that they can say start in Canvas, then go to Explain Everything, and then go back to Canvas or whatever other LMS you happen to be using. So yeah,
Google LMS or others.
Exactly.
Yeah. You see, Explain Everything is very open in terms of like using other platforms, and that's why it is for us, it is a challenge to show you all the integrations, and it was challenging for you to shoot those integrations, right?
Yes, it certainly was, especially because there are constant updates here and there and everywhere, and so yeah, it did take me a few days to figure that all out, but I did, and it is there for your benefit, so that you don't have to go through what I did. So you're welcome. My pleasure.
What is the timeline for the release of level 2?
Good question, Bart. What is the timeline for release of level 2?
We will make sure to release it before year's end. So and it's a stretched, it is a bit of a stretch to provide level 2 and level 3 until the end of the year, but we'll try to make it so they are readily available.
Maybe this is a good time to also mention this new Essentials playlist that we're also working on right now. Bart, do you think that's a good time to bring that up?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay. So
because it's kind of like supplementary, right?
Yeah, it is. So basically the first level of this certification course is about these scenarios that we've been talking about and about the central admin controls panel, but we're also working on a regular YouTube playlist that we're going to be calling Explain Everything Essentials, the new Explain Everything Essentials. So an updated version of a playlist we had before. And we really want to get down to, the absolute basics at the very beginning for people who maybe are not familiar with our tools. So basic, there are going to be 3 levels. The basic one is going to concentrate on just how to use the tools and, what you can do with them. Then the second level is going to be combining all of those tools and using them all together. And the third one is going to be, again, what we decided to call Explain Everything Edge. Yes. For the, again, hardcore fans. But we do have that playlist also in the works, and it should be coming up within, I'd like to optimistically say, the next few weeks.
Exactly. And it's our attempt to even improve on what we have out there as Essential Course. That was recorded, 1 year ago already. The app changes, needs, they evolve.
Constant updates. And
that's why you want to have those materials up to speed, but in a different format. And as you mentioned, it's going to be 3 of us. You'll be able to tell on which level of expertise you are by following just a face, right?
Just the face, yes.
Just a face. and also, we're not going to produce long episodes like, here I'm looking at the first one, the part 1 of 6. It's like only 4 minutes, but those clips will be like a minute long. right?
Yeah,
Maybe two.
especially the basic ones, the basics level, we could say, of the new essentials course we're creating for YouTube is going to be just like Bart said, a minute, 2 minutes explaining how to use, I don't know, the hand tool, the draw tool, the highlighter. So if you're a teacher who's out there and you want to get into this,
Yeah.
but you haven't, you don't exactly feel confident yet, then we're going to basically take you by the hand and walk you through every single one of those tools, and then we're going to show you how to combine them. So we're really going to get into the details, and we hope that that'll be helpful.
There's a cool question coming from Anonymous attendee. I have finished level 1. Why is the certificate good only for 2 years? Well, that's a very good question. And to be very honest, we thought about this, and because we're adding and changing the experience so much, we decided, okay, in 2 years, the skills that we are providing in this course might not be relevant. And therefore, it makes sense to put a time limit and encourage you to go through level 1 again in 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, in technology, I think if you're not moving forwards, you're moving backwards. And I think there's no way that the app is going to be in the same place in 2 years as it is today. We hope that it's going to be still, offer more. So by then it's going to be necessary, I think, to go through that one more time. So.
Yeah. And another question, once all 3 courses are available, do you have to do level 1 and 2 before you can do level 3? Actually, that's not the requirement at the moment. We might think about the sequence, but in reality, there are many of you that frequently join our webinars. Karl Hans Martin is a good example of a person who is with us a lot, attending those webinars, and he's an expert already. So we will encourage those that feel that, okay, level 3 is for me, to do level 3 and see how you go, right? Because you can always come back to level 2.
Yeah, it's not going to be a prerequisite. If you feel like you're up to the challenge, then go for it. We'll be happy to review your work and see what we can do.
Okay. Is the Blackboard integration in the program? Do we plan for Blackboard?
Blackboard, I don't really know anything about that.
Not yet, but thanks for the hint. We can certainly think about adding Blackboard. Sorry.
More LMS integration videos, yay.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about building skills, because explain everything is quite versatile, as we spoke, and we had this idea before the webinar that you might think of Explain Everything being sort of a toy, because it's easy to use at the very beginning. You think of this, okay, whiteboard.
It's a gadget,
colors, right?
Whatever, it's cute, etc. That's
it. Kids know how to use this, but then again, there's a real power to it once you know exactly what you want to achieve, right? So I see that Roshan already joined us today, and I hope you can hear us, Roshan, if you could confirm that.
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, Roshan.
Hi there.
Thank you for joining us. And it's great that you are with us at this point of time, because here we're speaking about building skills and why we're leading the process, putting out their certification, that it's kind of like scaffolding how to build those skills one step at a time. My question, how long does it take to get new teacher up to speed with Explain Everything, Roshan? If you could provide us with your perspective.
Well, I think like most things in teacher development, it depends. It depends on what outcome you're trying to achieve, and with what depth and what speed and what I guess polish or refinement. I think that in many cases, if the outcome is I guess familiar, right? It's close to something that might already be part of one's teaching routine, then figuring out how to use the tool to use that either to transform something digitally or replicate it digitally probably could be done pretty quickly, right? In a matter of an hour, if not minutes. I think it's once somebody wants to be able to start expanding their use and trying to involve more of their existing routines or augment their existing routines using the tool. I think that's where more time and more investment, but certainly that you're accelerating your rate of learning too, right? Because as you get more familiar with things, you start to recognize the combinations and patterns of tools and features and uses, and that sometimes can help uh, both to expand the amount that you're learning, but also the speed at which you're learning.
Right, right. So from your perspective, like as a co-creator of Explain Everything and constant user, and you lead other teachers getting familiar with Explain Everything. What is the best way to help teachers to learn Explain Everything in the time of COVID with this whole social distancing and people, being stuck at homes? We hope that certification course is going to be helpful, but what is your advice in, getting up to speed with Explain Everything if you're just, not able to meet your group and practice together?
Yeah, I think you try to focus on just one outcome or use that you can that will bring value, and then build from that, rather than trying to do everything or trying to actually introduce anything that is too new. Um, and then you build from that familiarity. So I think, in the question I was like, well, what problem is it that you're trying to solve? Like what is the experience that you're trying to design? And and then you go the next step. So for example, if you're trying to make asynchronous video content, then all I would focus on is like, how can you create a video using Explain Everything? And then my next question is, how can you take stuff maybe you've already created before and bring it into Explain Everything in order to make the video? And like, that's how you kind of layer and scaffold. um, you might go further and deeper in your own comfort with video when you realize, what, now I want to have students create videos and submit it, right? But that's kind of a leap forward, right? It takes your own understanding and familiarity, not necessarily be technically proficient or a pro at it, but at least understanding of the possibility, and then scaffold and instruct your students enough to be able to do that. But again, it starts with your own exploration and use and practice, and then you could quickly kind of release that control to students so that they can do the same things.
So that actually ties in rather nicely with the whole scenarios and use cases thing that we talked about, Rashawn, before you arrived, because that's kind of what this course is about, is just kind of walking teachers through the basic use cases that could be the most useful to them in the classroom, and then using that to supplement their skills when it comes to remote teaching.
Exactly. And
Cool.
just to illustrate those use cases, we have a list right here on the bottom. So we're trying to aim at 3 levels of, let's call this expertise or proficiency in using Explain Everything. That's today we're providing with level 1, but advanced and expert are coming. And those 3 levels, they kind of like provide you with a way to practice using Explain Everything for explainer video creation, one-way whiteboarding, and collaborative whiteboarding at the end. And Rashawn, from your perspective, which of these 3 is the entry point? Let's call it entry point, the easiest point to entry?
I would say the easiest is the explainer video, right? Because you're not performing necessarily, right? In the sense that you have a little bit more control over the time when your audience will be receiving or engaging with what it is that you've created. I mean, one way presenting, of course, it seems familiar, and it would seem like something also that it's pretty easy to set up, but just recognize that when you're doing a live session just like this one, there's that additional, I don't want to call it pressure, but just another dimension that there's a live audience watching you. Now, this, of course, depends on the context and setting. Many of you, if you're teachers, might already have the classroom culture and norm set up where it's okay that not everybody's an expert, and we celebrate taking risks and trying things. But if that's not your norm or culture, then it might make sense to start on the asynchronous side of things. And then again, once your comfort level with the tool, even though you wouldn't be using video while doing one-way whiteboarding, your facility just with the whiteboarding authoring tools would allow you to utilize those in real time in a live setting like this one.
Great. And this is actually what we discussed before starting this session, that explainer video provides this convenience where you can practice alone at your speed in the comfort of your home or whatever you are, trying to improve the experience of explainer video before actually sharing result that satisfies you, right?
Exactly. Delete whatever you don't like, no pressure, try again until you get it right. So I would also agree. And it's no coincidence that the explainer video is the first scenario that we discuss in this certification course.
The good thing about it is that all the skills that you learn when doing your explainer videos can be used in one-way whiteboarding, right? And that's actually what we're doing here, sharing our whiteboards to speak about a certification program. Yeah.
Yeah, these different scenarios, they become intertwined. You can live cast a collaboration. You can do all sorts of things, but I guess we have to start with the building blocks first, and then we can put them together and build something even cooler.
That's why today we're excited to provide you with the certification program level 1 for now, level 2 and 3 soon. I hope this was informative, what we provided you today. We will send links after this webinar, including recording. The links will lead you to the 3 levels of certification. Number 1 is available. You can sign up for level 2 and 3, so you'll get a notification once they become available.
So you don't miss out on anything.
Exactly. And we'll also provide you with a link to both playlists, Explain Everything Essentials and integrations that we spoke about.
Are you talking about the old Essentials playlist or the new one that's coming up?
The old playlist before we provide you with a new playlist, the updated Essentials 2020. Rashan, thank you for joining us today and sharing your perspective on how to get up to speed with Explain Everything.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thanks, Anastasia, for providing us with those recordings that are part of the course. And
it was my pleasure. You'll be seeing a lot more of me, so let's do this.
I hope this will be useful for you when you'll go through the course, and please share your experiences with us. We'd love to learn from you how we can improve the course even more in the future.
Yes, this being our first certification course, any feedback, we'd be grateful for it. So go ahead.
Thank you for all the questions that we received from you. And hope to see you on our next sessions